Welcome to episode 53 of Timm Talk, the podcast about the DC animated universe, co-created by Bruce Timm. I'm Chris Lord.
I'm Cameron Dexter.
And I feel like I misspoke last week. I thought I said this is going to be...
You steered me in such a wrong direction. I came in so excited for a Legion of Superhero episode. What did I get? 2 Kryptonians we haven't seen since 1956.
Yeah, pretty much. This is basically just half the plot of Superman 2 retold in animation. They're fine.
Without Zod.
They're fine.
Well, it's fine. It's this plot has been done a million different ways, just better.
Well, and I feel like, that's the problem, is that this is such a common thing. Like, I mean, Superman 2, I'm not saying it was the first one to do it, because obviously it had been done in the comics, but like, that was like the big one, is that, Zod and Ursa and Non get broken out of the Phantom Zone and wreak havoc, and Superman has to put them back. And like, they were kind of the first ones that did it. And then I think it's popped up in pretty much every other version. Like, I don't remember enough of Lois and Clark to say if it happened there, but certainly it happens here. It happened in Smallville. It obviously happened almost beat for beat again in Man of Steel. So at this point, like, we're just kind of used to it.
I feel like, what is... I want to say it's Justice League or JLU, where it's the 2 very Greek-sounding names. They're aliens. They come to Earth and they fight for Lois's hand.
For Lois's hand?
Yes.
That wouldn't be in Justice League or Justice League Unlimited. She doesn't appear in either.
Okay.
I think until the final episode of JLU.
And what am I thinking of? Because it's not Brave and the Bold.
Are you sure it's specifically Lois's hand?
I'm like 90. It's either Lois or Wonder Woman, but I don't think it's Wonder Woman.
Might be Wonder Woman.
I don't think so.
I
know it should be because they're very Greek sounding names. One has a white robe and one has like a... I don't remember. This is going to bother me the entire episode.
We might find out at some point.
Sure.
I mean, because there have been no other Superman animated series. He popped up in The Batman, but it wouldn't be that.
Yeah.
There was briefly Superman and the Legion of Superheroes.
Then it's got to be Brave and the Bold.
I think it has to be Brave and the Bold. Yeah, because I don't really recall that. I haven't watched Brave and the Bold.
Yeah.
So
I keep meaning to go back and rewatch all of it.
Okay.
Because I keep referencing it at this point.
I have been too, actually. Mm-hmm. We'll have to do that. I feel like we're going to be talking a lot about Richard Donner's Superman specifically Superman 2. I feel like we need to sit down and watch those.
Nah.
Well, here's the reason. That there is probably no movie that's had a bigger impact on how superhero movies are made than Superman the movie. Like, it is... You've probably seen... there's a video of Kevin Feige and I think Jeff Johns giving some sort of award to Richard Donner, and they're both like, you were the inspiration for how we made these movies. Like, Richard Donner's whole approach to the whole thing was all about verisimilitude, like to make it feel real and grounded, and you can see that influencing the way Sam Raimi did Spider-Man. I mean, Spider-Man 2 is basically just Superman 2 remade. Mm-hmm. The way the X-Men movies were done, which Kevin Feige was a producer on, the way he's made all the Marvel movies. Like, they are... If you go back and watch them, you'll be like, oh, that's where this comes from.
Okay.
And also, that movie not only had an impact on all superhero movies, but I think that movie had an impact on basically Superman in pop culture more than any single Batman movie has, right? So it's like, for example, you don't see a lot of things that reference like Batman 89 in other forms. Obviously, it inspired the animated series, but you go off that, it changes a lot. But I mean, all the way up to the Lego movie, it's the Crystal Fortress of Solitude. It's the John Williams score that plays there. Like, everything in Smallville was pulled from the Donner versions.
Okay.
So I think it's worth watching at some point just to see where all this comes from.
Yeah, I guess so.
Plus
I'll submit to that.
We'll do bonus episodes.
Sure. What news do you have, Chris? As I try and speak very loudly over this helicopter.
I know, every fucking
Chris,
time.
Close your windows.
It gets hot in here.
I don't care.
I'm also wearing a towel
60
romper.
degrees outside.
It is.
I'm thinking for the viewer.
It's for the viewers.
The listener.
Yes, the viewers. How can they see?
They can't see past this helicopter that's passing through us. What news do you have, Chris?
Okay, in terms of news, should we start with happy news and then go into like...
Let's do a happy sandwich.
Okay. Well, I was thinking there's actually like good news, like ambiguous news or ambivalent news, and then like bad news. Which we start with?
Let's start with the middle one.
Okay, let's go out of order. Okay, so I guess the middle news would be the change of director on Star Wars Episode 9. Nothing to do with Superman.
Oh, yeah. We got JJ's coming back.
Yeah, Colin Trevorrow's out.
Oh, yeah.
JJ's in. How do you feel about that? What do you think?
Indifferent. I think he did fine with Episode 7. I mean, with the major tasks that he had to try and uphold, like, I think it was fine. I know there's a lot of people that don't like 7, and they have their reasons, and I understand their reasons. I have my reasons for liking it, and I hope people understand the reasons for liking it. It was a tough situation. He did a good job with it.
Yeah, I always maintain I don't think there's a better version of that movie out there.
Yeah.
I think that is the movie it had to be, and he did a good job with it. I was excited to see a different director take on each movie a little bit. I thought, like, Rian Johnson is a great... If you look at, like, the new trilogy being similar to the original trilogy, maybe, like, the first one's an adventure, the second one's kind of darker, and the third one's kind of more of, like, a bigger adventure. I feel like those directors fit. Certainly look at Jurassic World, like it's kind of big and bright and fun and energetic. So I was interested to see what he had to do. This seems like a safe choice, but it's not necessarily a bad choice.
Yeah.
So
again, like I said, I'm indifferent.
Yeah.
It's Star Wars. I'll see it either way.
That's true. And at this point,
I'll more than likely enjoy it no matter what.
Yeah, considering
I'm not the person to ask for a controversial opinion on this, Chris.
No, it's absolutely true. And you look at, like, there was obviously a whole bunch of shakeup in regards to the way Rogue One was done in the end. I know you didn't really care for Rogue One that much,
but I'm also in the minority for that.
Yeah, I think that movie is good, and I think they'll work out in the end. So, and then I guess happier news: Wonder Woman.
Patty Jenkins is back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe they'll even give her even more, like, leeway this time around to just make her own movie, and hopefully we won't have a shit third act.
Think it's going to take place in World War II?
There's been talk about maybe it being, like, the 70s or the 80s.
Would it be another flashback episode?
I
think what they were trying to push with the photo is that she's been kind of dormant since those days.
Yeah, I guess she would have been. I don't know. It would be fun to see another period film.
It'd be awesome.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, it's like Captain America. You can't really do a second one. I mean, you can. With her, she's not frozen.
You might be able to, yeah. I don't know.
Who knows?
Either way, should be good stuff.
I'd like to see the mascara again. I don't think we will.
Oh, that's true. And I think
do you think they'll I wish they would prelude to the Atlantean Themysciran War.
Well, that's definitely going to pop up in Flashpoint, I would think.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess
they can hint at something about that.
I guess it would have, if we're going to go back to Themyscira, which I'm sure they will, because that part of the movie is generally considered pretty damn good, we would have to be set now, because I think the idea is that she hasn't been back to Themyscira since. Although, was that definitive, or were we just inferring that?
I think we're inferring it.
Yeah. Oh, hi, buddy.
But, I mean, she was technically banished, so it makes sense for her to not have gone back. She seems to be a person that holds up her word.
That's true, yeah. She's a lady of her word. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. Exciting, though.
Yeah,
again,
very cool.
We want these movies to be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not our fault that they're not.
Mm-hmm. I have one more indifferent news.
Oh, good. More indifferent news.
Sad.
Yes.
We got our first picture of Hellboy in the new Hellboy movie.
How extraordinarily indifferent.
If you've seen the first two Hellboy movies, it's the exact same thing.
Yeah.
I think longer hair. That was the only thing I was able to notice. It was mostly shadow.
Yeah, and I think there was another one that was in black and white.
Yeah, there might be things that we're not picking up on. They're trying to hide specifically until we get real news.
It barely looks like David Harbour. It looks identical to
Perlman.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, again,
I hope a little slimmer. That's all.
Maybe a little bit, a little bit slimmer. But again, that's still like I don't think David Harbour is in that quite a shape. I mean, that's definitely like a body muscle suit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, again, I want it to be good. So
yeah. I mean, did you like Hellboy 2? I feel like that's kind of a split.
I think I've only
in
seen
the nerd world.
Each of them once, but I enjoyed them both. Mm-hmm. So
I loved the first one. It used to be on TV all the time. Okay. I'd watch it a lot.
Yeah, I mean, Guillermo del Toro, generally pretty solid.
Yeah.
So. But also, Neil Marshall, like, he did some of the best episodes of Game of Thrones.
That's true.
So, and I imagine they'll probably try and give it a bit of that aesthetic and tone. Mm-hmm. I think that works.
I mean, that small show that only a couple people watch, they kind of probably want to kind of steal off that hype.
I know, right? Oh, God, it's been so long before it comes back.
I know. Sad. It's fine. We can do this. We have Superman to watch.
Yeah, Superman, yeah.
What's our sad news?
Sad news is that Len Wein died.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so, I mean, he's most famous for creating Wolverine and Swamp Thing. Mm-hmm. Relevant to us, he also created Lucius Fox.
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
And Amanda Waller.
Ooh.
Yes, and Mongol, who's a Superman villain who we'll be seeing later.
Oh, he's in my favorite, or one of my favorite Justice League episodes.
Oh, yes, for The Man Who Has Everything. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then, of course, when he created Wolverine, he also created Nightcrawler, Storm, and Colossus.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, we kind of badmouthed him a bit because he wrote both the comic and then the teleplay adaptation of Moon of the Wolf from the animated series.
That was him. Oh, shit.
That was him. But, hang on, in his defense, he also did Off Balance, which is the Count Vertigo episode.
Okay.
Which was silly, but pretty solid.
Fine. Yeah.
Blind as a Bat.
It's fine.
Which is fine. And then the second half of Demon's Quest, which is kind of like that James Bondish sort of episode.
Known primarily for Shirtless Batman.
Shirtless Batman versus Shirtless Roz.
Yeah.
We're still going to have to do that one year at Comic-Con as cosplay.
I need to get in better shape before then.
I think it's more about the hair. I think the hair is what was going to define it.
I mean, I'll have the cowl on. Oh, or are you expecting to be Batman?
Yeah, of course.
But Roz is taller.
But you can actually, grow a beard, and you can actually get, your hair can do the Roz hair. Mine can't.
Well, we need a third friend, and I'll just be Robin.
Okay. We'll find someone else to do.
I'll be on the side, just bound up the entire time.
Yeah, I'm determined. Even if it's just for one photo on the floor, we're gonna do it. But yeah, so I mean, we gave him shit for Moon of the Wolf, but I mean, he's made some incredible contributions to comics. He was relatively young. I think he was in his late 60s or something like that.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's kind of sad. So, but that's it for news.
Yeah, you ready to get into these mediocre episodes?
Yeah, they are kind of mediocre.
Yeah.
It's blast from the past.
Today is a very indifferent day, everyone.
Yeah, we have little to no opinions.
Don't come here for opinions.
So, I mean, what we do get introduced to in this episode is the Phantom Zone, though.
Yes.
Phantom Zone is pretty damn cool.
It's very important.
Overall. Yeah, and it's in everything.
Lego Batman.
It's in Lego Batman, yeah.
Great in Lego Batman.
Yeah, he was really well in Lego Batman, actually. Used not quite in the same way. Actually, that's probably one of the most original uses of the Phantom Zone I've seen.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, because otherwise it's always just the same thing that they're doing in this episode. But yeah,
so space vacuum.
Space vacuum, yeah, exactly. Basically, we just figure out that buried inside Superman's chip is the Phantom Zone projector, and we discover that there is a prisoner in there named Mala, and when Superman looks him up on his little Brainiac Orby Bally thing, she was sentenced because she was the second in command behind Jack Zur, who tried to overthrow Krypton. When that failed, off they went to the Phantom Zone, but she has served her sentence.
Yes. She was only supposed to be in there for 20 years.
Yeah.
And that was, I don't know how long.
I mean, probably about, Earth years, Superman's probably, 33, 32, 33 probably?
Yeah, I would say 30.
Yeah, so, but
we also don't know how long before he was born that she was trapped in there.
That's true.
At least 20 years.
I forget, in this version... Is there a hyperdrive? Did he go through a hyperdrive wormhole sort of thing to jump? I feel like he did. So that varies. In some versions, he just drifts and drifts and drifts, and he's in spin animation until he arrives on Earth. And so Krypton blew up a long time ago. Other times, he leaps across.
Yeah, because that's how the Supergirl story comes in sometimes. Or sometimes she was in the portal, he wasn't, or flipped, or he was in the
There's
portal.
There's all this weird justification. Yeah, so...
Whatever he was, she wasn't.
Exactly.
That's how you explain Supergirl.
Whenever Superman's a girl, Supergirl's a man.
Yes.
Yeah, so Superman decides to let her out. Now, is this him being stupid? Or is it him being in character? Or is it both?
It's both. And I have so many problems with how Mala was written.
Yeah, I know.
At this point, I feel like they don't know how to write women anymore. They forgot everything they learned in Batman.
Well,
because what they're doing to Lois, I hate what they're doing to Lois. Lois hasn't done anything in the past 5 episodes.
But okay, when she's on screen though, how do you feel about her?
This episode, she did nothing. She had a few quippy one-liners, but she was strangled the first time we see her. She was caught under rubble the second time we see her. She was kidnapped the third time we see her. And the fourth time she shoots a gun, but
okay, yeah, it's not looking great, is it?
They haven't done anything with her in such a long time. I brought this up last week or 2 weeks ago where it's she had such potential to be an important character in this film and in this series. But right now all they're doing is I feel like they think they have to put her in somehow. So she'll just drive up on scene.
That's fair.
It's she and obviously the reasoning is her reporting, but they never really go into getting her sources or the more entertaining side of reporting.
Yeah,
which is not very entertaining.
Well, but she makes it entertaining.
Yeah.
So yeah, actually, that's actually a pretty good point. Yeah, because I mean, it's been a long time since I've watched this. I obviously remember Justice League and JLU better. She's not in any of that.
No,
Like,
but we have other compelling women in those. We have Vixen, we have Wonder Woman, we have Hot Girl.
yeah, that's true. That's absolutely true.
Like they understand it then, but
Yeah.
like in BTOS, we had Montoya in a couple episodes.
Yeah, I
we
mean,
had Catwoman,
they had
Poison Ivy.
Great arcs for Harley.
Yeah. And right now we've
Yeah.
just had nothing.
No, that's
Mala,
true.
like, yes, Mala does bad things, but Superman, this is my biggest problem with this episode.
Okay.
Superman overreacts to such an extreme level. She doesn't do, like, he does the same thing that she did.
Yeah, it's absolutely
She
true.
did nothing that he wouldn't do.
Yeah, he's. Do you think he's just prejudiced because he's like he knows she? So like, it's weird because he knows she has a history of like surfing with a wannabe dictator, and he still lets her out anyways. But then he's like super skeptical of her once he gets out. It's like why?
Yeah, he
Why didn't he
trains
just-
her.
Yeah,
Like they do a montage
They do a fucking
of training
montage.
her,
I don't-
of her like learning to use her powers.
Yeah.
And then immediately on their first patrol, he's like, "Okay, you go stop those
yeah.
two. I'll
you go
stop."
be unsupervised.
Yeah.
with your newly developed powers.
And then he comes and he's like, is surprised when she, like, I was expecting her to just not know how to hold back.
Yeah,
And she is like, she fully understands the capabilities of her powers. She doesn't like punch a car through a wall. She doesn't like,
Nope.
like put these people in mortal danger at all.
no, she like throws one guy against a dumpster and then like I think just stands on top of a car and threatens the other one.
Yeah. And even the cops are like, did Superman do this?
Yeah.
Yes, he's done this
He does
for
this all,
years.
He does this all the time. Like I love it. In the next episode, like Bala steals the post truck and the mailman falls out. Superman grabs him. He goes down instead of jumping him on the ground. He like leaves him on top of an awning. Like Superman does dick stuff like this.
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah, nothing that she's done. Superman has done everything that she's done.
Yeah.
But he's reprimanding her for nothing.
Yeah, because then after she gets like a little bit aggressive, like barely, he's like, "Well, I don't know if I can trust her anymore. It might
Maybe
have-
I should put her back into this prison.
Yeah, maybe I should throw her back in this horrible, endless prison." No wonder she's upset about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. It's not good.
Yeah, I had... Where are my notes? I have other things to talk about, Chris. So let's jump back. Professor releases an evil worm monster. Superman stops it.
Yeah.
Mala comes out.
Night on the town. Oh, she's like,
She's got the doomy eyes. That was my big thing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man, that like immediately when she's released, Superman is like, "Oh, we're the last two Kryptonians," and just like first thing.
It's like,
Oh, also she knows that he's the son of the guy that put her in prison.
Yeah.
It's like she doesn't care about that at all. She's like, "Oh, last two, guess we better repopulate this planet."
Yeah. But she knows that Jax-Ur is still alive inside the Phantom Zone.
Yes.
So, can we assume that the entire time, on some level, she's always playing
That's what
Superman?
I wanted.
But
I
it's
wanted.
It's not clear. It's not like,
Chris,
definitive.
I want to start a segment right here, right
Okay,
now.
all right, let's do it.
I want to start. How do we make these better?
Okay. All right.
You're a film writer. Sometimes you read scripts a lot. You know what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah, I do read a lot of scripts.
How do we make this work?
Okay. I think I'm willing to accept the fact that he decides to let her out because like I asked that question. I think it's still in character with him because Superman, the big thing about him, and this is what I think they didn't quite get with Man of Steel, is he always sees the good in people to the point of it being a fault.
Yes.
He's very similar to Captain America in that regards. Like they did a great job in Marvel of like that's the whole thing in Civil War is that Cap really believes in Bucky. He's right, but maybe he shouldn't.
Right.
Superman's the same way. So I'm willing to believe that he would let her out. I think maybe you need a moment in the beginning of the episode of him at the fortress, because it kind of ties it back in the end. He's like, "Oh, like I am alone." Maybe you need a moment up front for him to just like be a little bit aware of the fact that he's the only one of his kind. So he's extra inclined to want to meet someone new. He happens to meet her in the Phantom Zone, happens to pull her out, and then yeah, I think you're right. I think she's got to be more aggressive right from the beginning.
Yeah. I had my twist of the story is we get kind of that 3 or 4 minute backstory on her, which I think is very important. We know
It
that
is.
she was second in command in the Planetary Defense Unit under Jax-Ur. And then Jax-Ur is the one that starts this coup. I wanted her to be the mastermind behind that. Like I wanted her to have a history of manipulating people.
That would have been cool.
And then that would have led to her convincing Superman to let Jax-Or out.
Yeah.
And then she knew with the two of them they could overpower him. Because with one, they're pretty much on equal grounds. They're both superpowered Kryptonians.
Yeah, she has military training, but I guess.
But she's also she's also been kind of in suspended animation and probably has like atrophy.
Yeah, also probably a little bit of psychological damage for being stuck in basically the
and that's also what I was expecting.
Purgatory forever.
When she said that she was only supposed to be in there for 20 years, and it's been at most 50.
Yeah,
because we'll say we'll say 40 to 50. She's been in there. Like I would expect her to go a little crazy.
Yeah,
and to kind of show those tendencies where like she kind of can't control herself sometimes.
Yeah, it would have been interesting if she came out and was like a little bit feral from having gone through that experience.
Yeah. But then on the other side, playing devil's advocate on that, she is a military trained person, like you mentioned before. So she knows how to keep kind of a level head in intense situations.
This is true, but I mean, if you think about it, the Phantom Zone is like the opposite of intense.
Yeah.
It's just
nothingness.
It's like beige in a universe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the beige car of the prisons.
It's like a beige 1980s Buick with a brown interior. It's just there's no
you just already get that
personality.
smell.
Yeah,
like you don't even need to see it. You can already
it
smell
smells
it.
like vaguely like an ashtray, but it's not quite there. It just kind of lingers in the back a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you feel like someone rubbed a whole bunch of little like pine tree fresheners all over the thing. Yeah, that's a Phantom Zone for you.
Just forever.
Forever in a Buick. Yeah, I agree with you. That would have been much more interesting to have her be kind of the one behind it a little bit. Because what it feels like is this whole episode is basically just setting up Jax-Or. Like, even the background, it's basically all about him. We get very little of her. I guess in doing so, that means we don't know how challenging she can be, potentially. But yeah, it's not really about her at all.
Right.
It all feels like just prelude.
To a villain who does nothing, who does even more nothing.
Yeah.
So to continue on with the actual episode, just like super quick. Lois calls her Wonder Woman.
Yeah, okay, I've been a note about
funny.
that too. I mean, I guess that. I mean, it's just a joke, right?
Yeah,
it's just a joke thrown in there because we're not going to meet Wonder Woman for a few more years.
Yeah,
and they don't know her at the time. So
right. And then we see kind of what kind of goes against what we were thinking before, that she was trying to seduce Superman into letting Jax-Or out. When Lois asked the question, "Are you two a couple?" and Superman says no, and she's so offended by that comment.
Yeah,
like, but we're the how could you possibly turn down the last woman of your race?
Yeah, maybe Superman's gay.
Maybe.
Yeah,
dreams come true, Chris.
Oh, no, that'd be if Nightwing were gay.
Yeah,
let's be honest.
So then that's when we see we kind of see.
She snaps a little bit, like she tries to kill Lois.
Yeah, even before that, there's the scene where she's watching TV and Lex mentions the Phantom Zone, and that's when she kind of like starts to flip the coin, or flip the switch on the crazy. Where also I don't know how Lex already knows what the Phantom Zone is, but that's not important.
I know.
Lex just varies with its little birdies everywhere.
Yeah. Well, that'd be Littlefinger with his birdies everywhere.
Well, Varys has birdies too.
Does he use birdies? That he uses?
I'm pretty sure he's used birdies.
Birds?
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, maybe it is. Fuck it, whatever.
He's on the TV saying to the world that she is a danger and she needs to go back to the Phantom Zone.
Yeah.
I don't think she understands that he doesn't really have the power to do that.
Yeah, probably
she kind of flips. And I'll get into this more next episode, but I kind of wish Lex had a bigger part in this episode.
It would have been more interesting, but also then it would have been even more so just the plot of Superman 2.
Oh, well, I don't know Superman 2.
You don't know. Yeah, we heard that.
That's pretty much all of part one.
I did love, real quick, so at the very end of the episode, Mala and Superman finally get into like a proper fight across the city, and she knocks him into like basically a Space Needle type like restaurant.
It's the exact Space Needle.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of the Sydney. Is it Sydney Tower? There's a revolving restaurant up at the top of the Sydney Tower. So they're inside a restaurant, right? The people inside of it were? Yeah. So Ahad comes over, Superman picks it up, and he goes and sets it down like in the middle of like a 3-pronged building. I had two thoughts on that. One, it reminds me a lot of the original launch pad from Lost in Space in the 1960s. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but I thought that was cool. Two, how the fuck do people get out of there?
I'm sure he'll go back and
I guess so, but what are they going to do? Just like, what if he dies?
Yeah.
Like,
Fire, I mean, the fire
but
department.
like, what, you like get up onto the roof and then find it's ridiculous. Again, he's being a total dick.
Yeah.
Just,
Well, I mean, I assume to get in there, it's probably an elevator in the middle. Get a fire truck to come in, put up the elevator in the middle.
But they're like, wait, what? There's probably a way to do it. There's a way to do it. There's not an obvious way to do it.
Call Batman because he would handle the situation so much better.
He really would, though. He would never let this happen in the first place.
Right.
He would have kept her ass locked up.
He would have never let her out. There's someone who wants to be my friend? No.
No way.
Keep them away from me. They want to try and help me? Alfred, stop them from helping me.
So she steals a fan zone projector, and at the very end, she releases Jack Sewer.
Yes. The ultimate villain who does absolutely nothing.
Yeah. So I got some notes on Mala, the Phantom Zone, and Jack Sewer. I think maybe I'll do Mal and the Phantom Zone right now.
Okay.
Real quick. There's a reason why she's kind of a nothing character. That character does not exist. So the character's first appearance was back in like 1950, but it's a male character.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That makes a lot more sense from the brief history I read.
Yeah, and so basically, and that character basically had nothing to do with Jack Sewer, who has a little more of a history, but that character basically started to try to take over the planet by removing all the moisture from the atmosphere, tried to take over Krypton. And when that didn't work, he wasn't thrown
Sounds like a plot for the Condiment King right there.
Ooh, actually would be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, just so many salt packets.
I will cover the earth in salt packets. I've scoured all of the fast food chains.
and lemon pepper. It's high in sodium. It's the same shit. So
good luck stopping me now, Batman.
What would it be like if Condiment King got in a fight with Superman?
It's amazing.
Kryptonite laced relish?
Would he have enough time to get off all his puns?
No, probably not.
Oh,
actually, no, he would, because like
Superman wouldn't
Superman won't even try.
Feel so much pity for him.
He'd be like, "Oh, look at you, poor little bastard." He'd probably just literally just grab him and just float him off and drop him somewhere.
I could definitely see kryptonite laced relish.
I can see Lex Luthor recruiting Condiment King to try and take out Superman with kryptonite relish.
Yes,
we'll write that story.
Oh, dreams.
But so in the comics, Mala was like put in a spaceship and put into suspended animation around the Phantom Zone. But so this version of the character is really based off of Ursa, which is the character from Superman 2.
Yes.
Created for Superman 2 and actually didn't appear canonically in the comics until the Last Sun arc from like 2007. You probably haven't read that, have you?
No.
So again, okay, you should read it after we've watched Superman 1 and 2 because it's written by Jeff Johns and Richard Donner. And so it's set in the Superman main canon continuity, but they take a lot of the visual cues, like the fortress looks like the fortress from the movie and stuff like that. But in it, there's Zod and Ursa, and I guess I don't want to go into too many details. Basically, Superman discovers a young boy who has Kryptonian powers, and he doesn't know where he came from.
Okay.
It's a really good arc, actually. And
that sounds really cool.
Yeah, I have it. But
is his name Connor?
LA. No, he goes Chris.
Boo. Stupid name.
Christopher Reeve.
Oh. Cool name.
Yeah, it's good for him. It's good for him. Other Chris's kind of suck. Yeah, so Ursa's kind of cool. Mala not so much. But the Phantom Zone though is actually pretty cool.
Tell me about the history.
So
tell me a story, Chris.
They spin you a yarn. You'll be bored to death like
Tell
you would be in the Phantom Zone. It's
this beige world.
The Beige Buick premiered in Action Comics number 283 in April of 1961. It was discovered by Jor-El, and as we've seen in every iteration, it's used for imprisoning criminals. And I guess this is bizarre, though. Before they had the Phantom Zone, their way of dealing with criminals was that they would seal them in capsules and rocket them into orbit and suspend animation with crystals attached to their foreheads that would slowly take away their criminal tendencies.
Interesting.
Yeah, I feel like we got a mash of that in Superman or in Man of Steel because they put them in those little space dildos and then launched them into the Phantom Zone.
Mm-hmm.
The only person ever to be put into the Phantom Zone who was not a criminal was Mon-El, who's a Daxamite, which I guess is a race of people who were descended from Kryptonians off of a colony. But they are weak to lead instead of kryptonite.
Okay.
So I guess Mon-El, somehow shows up in Smallville when Superman was still Superboy, gets exposed to lead and gets sick, and so Superboy, puts him in the Phantom Zone to keep him alive because disease, a disease will stay stagnant within the Phantom Zone. At one point, it was part of the continuity that the Phantom Zone was a manifestation of like a sentient brain, like a sentient universe.
Okay, sounds interesting.
Basically, there's this thing called like the ether, and it was like the ether's ability to imagine other existences created the Phantom Zone. Mm-hmm. It's fucking bizarre. I don't quite get it.
I feel like they mentioned that in one of the Green Lantern stories that I read.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. So this was pre-crisis.
Okay, then probably not.
Yeah, because in post-crisis, there's a thing called the Eradicator. I only know that as the Eradicator, like, became personified.
Eradicator.
Yeah, he goes around eradicating, but he became personified after Superman died. He was one of the 4 Supermen.
Okay.
But I guess he's like a Kryptonian device that he's designed to rebuild Krypton. So that's how the Fortress of Solitude is built. And he draws matter from the Phantom Zone to build shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds kind of cool.
Yeah. And then I think pretty much else covered. Phantom Zone projectors and everything, including Lego Batman.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
Super exciting.
It could be cool. I mean, I think the Phantom Zone has kind of been, like we said, it's kind of been used the same way since the 60s with Lego Batman kind of doing a more interesting twist on it.
Yeah, expanding it, doing something different with it.
Yeah. So there's opportunity for more interesting things.
Yeah. Again, I think one of the best versions I've seen of it used is in that Last Sun comic, which is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
So actually, it's cool. At one point, you go inside there's scenes set inside the Phantom Zone, and the comic, at least the hardcover I got, came with like the red and blue old fashioned 3D goggles.
Oh, nice!
And you would wear those so the things would kind of like jut out at you in the middle of the Phantom Zone.
That's awesome.
So it's pretty awesome. Yeah.
There was a I was going to go into this briefly in the next episode, but it kind of fits in here. There was an episode, I think it was episode 3 or 4 later than that, in X-Men Evolution, when Nightcrawler gets trapped in between dimensions.
That's a great episode. Forge builds him the device.
Thank you. Yeah. Yes. I feel like that's like a more interesting way to tell a Phantom Zone story. Was what they did with that, and they kind of briefly went into it in this episode because we'll get into this in a second. But Superman gets sucked in, and later in this episode, and when he tries to get out, the professor is like, "Oh, he's stuck between 2 dimensions," and then he still gets out for some reason.
Yeah, it doesn't really quite make sense. Yeah, no, you're right, because I think I feel like the only time we've seen the inside of the Phantom Zone was in Lego Batman, and then I guess in Smallville. It was in Smallville, like, he gets trapped in the Phantom Zone in the end of, I want to say, like, season 6 or something like that, or maybe partway through season 6.
That sounds about right.
And then I feel like it's one of those things because it's like in the classic Richard Donner moment, he's like trapped in that plane of glass, like floating through space. And if I recall, like, he then like realized he can like jump down out of that into like the actual physical world as the Phantom Zone. So I think we spent a little bit of time there in Smallville, but never in any of the movies. And I feel like it'd be interesting to see like what that world's like inside of there rather than having just be this blank whatever.
Yeah.
That's a great episode of X-Men Evolution, though.
It is.
It's just a gregreat show in general.
It is. And I think I mentioned this before. A lot of the writing staff from BTOS actually worked on that.
Oh, that makes sense.
Boyd Kirkland.
Yeah.
Who wrote and directed a lot of the BTOS episodes. He was the kind of lead. He was the executive producer on Evolution.
Oh, that does make sense. Yeah, because the storytelling on that's actually pretty sophisticated all the way through. And there's a lot of good characters. Plus the design is awesome. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that is an underappreciated version of the X-Men. Everyone always talks the 90s cartoon just because it's so ridiculous. But have you gone back to watch the 90s cartoon?
It's so ugly.
It's terrible.
I think they animated on 3s, which is a
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think you mentioned, but remind me again what that means.
Normal traditional animation is you animate if you're doing it in a speedy style, is you animate every other frame. So it's animating on 2s.
Okay.
Animating on 3s is kind of what you imagine. They're animating frame 3, 6, 9, 12.
Oh, okay.
And a 24 FPS episode.
Okay, so basically there are 3 stagnant frames, and then 3 stagnant frames, and 3 stagnant frames. Okay.
I don't know if you saw the trailer that popped up recently, but it's the Jaden Smith anime.
I did see that on Netflix. It's kind of like their send up to anime. It looked interesting. Actually.
It looks very weird, but that's another show that's going to be animated on 3s, and a lot of the art community is very upset because it looks interesting, but it's just not going to be done well.
Like that's deliberate, though, right?
I don't know.
Because it seems like it's supposed to be kind of satirical. At least that's what I read about it too. So maybe that's why they did it. But,
I don't know.
Yeah, but I can see what you mean.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows what Jaden Smith is thinking?
No, but I mean, you said he was good in the Get Down.
He was great in the Get Down.
So maybe we're gonna end up like,
Everyone go watch the Get Down.
maybe he's gonna prove himself to actually be like kind of decent when he inevitably gets cast as Static Shock because his dad is now connected to the DC universe. Maybe he'll actually end up being kind of good.
Yeah, ideally.
Maybe. So, but until then,
What's our plug for this week? Not plug. What's our sponsor for this week, Chris?
Sequel Squeal.
Chad Fogland.
Yeah. So
And the other guy.
I know I should look these up more because the thing is I look them up once and then I forget to look them up again.
Right.
But yeah, I mean their podcast is basically they go through and they talk about franchises. So I think they did James Bond once before. I don't know if they've ever done Batman or Superman. Actually, we should look and see.
We should.
And if they haven't,
Let's talk to Chad.
I know we should go. Hey,
Mr. Chad.
hey, Chad. We have a couple Batman experts here. One Superman expert. That person's also a James Bond expert. Let's talk things.
I'm one Batman expert. I don't consider myself an expert.
You're pretty damn knowledgeable about this sort of stuff. I mean, more so than you are about Superman, considering
That's very
you
true.
haven't seen like the most important Superman movie. Again, to be remedied. But here's the promo for Sequel Squeal.
Hey, listen to Sequel Squeal, the podcast where we watch a movie and all its sequels, right, Benny?
Yes, you are correct, Chad Fogland.
Right here on the Nerd School Network.
Yay, us!
Yeah, we're done. That was good.
Ooh.
All right, so now we're on to Blast from the Past, Part 2, where Superman takes Professor Hamilton. Oh, Hamilton!
Yeah.
You're living
wearing
with your
my
Hamilton
Hamilton
shirt.
shirt right now.
Yeah,
That's why,
I'm
I thought that's why you brought it up earlier.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even think about that till
Yeah.
just now. Okay, well, anyways, he takes Hamilton up to the Fortress of Solitude, and Hamilton names it as such.
Mm-hmm. In the spiffy Superman submarine suit.
Yo, God,
Or scuba suit.
Stupid-ass scuba suit. But then...
I still love those colors. It's such a 90s color palette.
So ugly. It's
Anything with like a
oh.
bright purple, gold, and silver is just such a good 90s color
But
palette.
it's like it's all muted though. It's like a muted purple. It's like
Yeah.
it's almost like a brown, and then it's like this weird, like not just like sparkly gold or yellow, but like this dull, like.
Yeah. It's
God.
fine.
It would fit well in the Phantom Zone or the beige Buick. But I do love that Superman shows him like the Brainiac interface, and he's like, "Stand close, activate by my DNA." I'm like, oh.
Ooh.
Careful.
Superman.
Careful now.
Please look the other way, Professor.
Yeah. But so then at this point, Jack Sewer is out. Did you see who voiced Jack Sewer?
I did not.
It's Ron Perlman.
Hellboy.
Hellboy, yeah. And I had forgotten this. He did
a lot of voices.
So many voices. I wrote some of them down here. So not only did he do Jack Sewer here. Oh, okay. He was obviously Clayface in BTAS. He's later going to be the voice of Orion, Darkseid's son. I think in one Superman episode, and again in Justice League. He's obviously Slade in the Teen Titans, and he's also Killer
my
Croc in the
favorite.
Batman. So
Oh, I didn't know that. I
forgot
didn't
about
know
that. Yeah,
one.
but he just keeps popping up and I thought it was interesting. I feel like
He's so good as Slade.
he's amazing as Slade, and I feel like
Such
he's
a good
less
series.
he's less Ron Perlman-y in this one. Like I wouldn't necessarily guess it's him unless I knew
I
it.
never would have guessed that.
Yeah, because like even in the Batman, he's like clearly Ron Perlman doing like a little bit of a Cajun thing, and I feel like in Slade he like really deepens his voice. And he's like
It's like a very flat Ron Perlman. I feel like he's very energetic in his voices.
Yeah.
With Slade, he was very suave and
but he's very Ron Perlman-y, and he's less so here.
yeah.
Also, real quick, side note: Mala, whatever.
Mahjong.
Voiced by Leslie Easterbrook, who is not that important, but she was the voice of Randa Dwayne in Heart of Steel, the cyborg.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, a slightly better written female character, even though she was a mindless robot.
Yep.
But
Do you know who Mahjong is?
who? What?
Not going to go into it.
No, go ahead. I mean, you always go into it. You always go into it.
There was
I'd hate to deprive you.
There was a series on Kids WB which I loved. I've brought it up a few times now called Xiaolin Showdown.
Okay. Yes. It's the guy. He looks at the big yellow face, right? Wasn't Shaolin Showdown the?
Omi, yes.
Yeah.
Big
It
yellow
wasn't
face.
like a Texan.
Yep, Clay.
Yeah.
It was Omi, Clay, Raimundo, and Kimiko.
Okay.
All voiced by amazing voice actors. It was Tara Strong. Was it Grey DeLise or Grey DeLisle? How do you
it's
say
Grey
it?
DeLisle.
Okay. Grey DeLisle, Tom Kinney,
And Ron Perlman.
other. It wouldn't surprise me if he popped up in that show. Like
He pops
every
up in-
voice actor.
He
was in
pops
that
up in
show.
everything. Yeah.
But in the show, you have these items that everyone's fighting for called Shen Gong Wu.
Mm-hmm.
There's a villain that is comprised of Shen Gong Wu. So if you
Oh,
get enough
wow.
of them together, he emerges, and his name is Mala Mala Zhang.
Oh, okay.
He's awesome.
That's great.
And it's just my favorite name to say.
so great.
I would always get him and Minsoor Mala mixed up when I was trying to say them because I was watching Teen Titans. Minsoor Mala is the gorilla from Gorilla Land. What's the hidden island of gorillas in DC?
Isn't it Gorilla City?
Sure, that sounds about right. He is he's the beret wearing one.
Oh, okay. Wait, he popped up in Teen Titans?
Yeah,
been too long.
in the last season, it was him and the Brain.
Oh,
were
okay.
the main villains.
I don't know if I really saw much the last season.
Yeah, there's always like some kind of tiff going on between Minsoor Mala and Gorilla Grodd.
Okay. And what's the other guy's name from Jalen Showdown?
Mala Mala Zhang.
Mala Malajang? That is fun
Yes.
to say. Yeah.
It's so much fun to
Mala
say.
Malajang. Ooh, I like
It's like a song. I feel like
Yeah.
there needs to be a song that has that in it.
Yeah, go ahead and write one. We'll sing it on the podcast live
Yep,
next time.
with all my musical talent.
No, we'll do. We'll have Amanda and Frank come on because they can
There
actually
we go.
improvise musical
Yeah.
stuff, which we cannot.
Nope.
Um,
Sorry. So Jaxor. Jaxor has a line. I don't know if you caught this, but I was very interested and I actually Googled this.
okay.
He says when he's first walking on Earth, and he's like, "Oh, all these peasants, by name of Roa, has brought me full circle."
By Rao.
Yeah, Rao. Thank you.
Yeah, it's the Kryptonian god.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, which isn't Rao also an Egyptian god? Or that's Ra?
No, you're thinking Ra.
Okay,
Ra is the
close.
sun god. But
Yeah.
Rao is also their like god of light and life in Krypton.
Oh, in Krypton. Yeah. Yeah, he's like...
It's also before he was a god, that was the name of their son. So it's very much Egyptian inspired.
Yeah, because there's a lot of references to Rao, I feel like, in the later seasons of Smallville, like when Zod came in and stuff like that.
Okay, I don't remember.
Yeah.
But
been a
I
while.
liked that. It was cool.
Yeah.
So then there's a fight, and I feel like it was a cool idea that just didn't entertain me as much.
Is this when Mala and Superman are fighting inside the falling mail
Yes.
truck? Yeah, I had the same note. Like, it's a clever idea, but we're not inside the truck.
Give us some interesting camera angle, like add some cinematography to
Yeah,
this. All we had was a falling truck with really nothing to show that it's falling. It just looks like it's spinning.
Yeah, and they're just like hitting each other back and forth and occasionally popping out of a door, like putting a dent in the wall. But like, it would have been cool to have been inside of that.
Yeah.
Because that's an interesting idea of two people who can be fighting without the effects of gravity inside something that is actively being affected by gravity. Mm-hmm. Like, that is super interesting. Like, the physics of all that. Like, that's almost like a Spielbergian, like, Rube Goldberg-esque sort of, like, crazy action set piece. And they just did nothing with
Oh,
it.
I was imagining like a Bourne scene.
Oh, okay, yeah, even
with
that
like
too.
the super close up kind of angles.
Yeah, but I guess you can't really do super close-ups in animation.
That's true. I mean, you can. It doesn't look good.
It doesn't look good. No, but I agree with you because I don't know about that too. Like, there's like an interesting idea there, and they don't really do anything with it.
Yeah.
So, 'cause, yeah, they basically get into a scrap, and they get away because they put people in danger, and Superman always they put Lois in danger, right? Isn't that when?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a clever. Well, okay, it didn't start out clever because Lois basically shows up and she's like, "Kick their ass, Superman." And then
And then runs past all of the cops and
the
all
cops,
of the
they-
reporters and like
they
it's directly
never-
under.
The cops never bother to stop Lois.
They don't care anymore.
Yeah.
It's like this bitch is gonna die.
They're probably just if
It's not on our hands
at
anymore.
some point she'll get killed by something and then she'll stop being a pain in their ass is probably what they're thinking.
Yeah.
But I did like that Mala's solution was to like hit one balcony and just like they just started falling one into each other. Domino.
yeah.
That was kind of cool. Mm-hmm. And Superman had to swoop in and save her. It's just it is kind of lame, isn't it? Mm-hmm.
So this is the part where I also thought it would be, but I didn't know Lex was such a big part of Superman 2.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be cool for this moment when like all the cameras are out on Superman and Superman's losing, for him to just kind of look in the camera and be like, Lex, bring the green rock, or bring like have some kind of coded message to like bring the thing that stops all
have them work
Kryptonians.
together.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's in? I mean,
Because then that'd be a crisis for Lex that we've seen a few times now, where it's like, do I help my enemy or do I
Yeah.
save
Right, like
my city?
what happened with Brainiac?
Yeah.
And when his involvement in Superman 2, again, he's a different kind of Lex. Because in the Richard Donner films, which includes the Bryan Singer movie, he's a criminal. He doesn't run like a massive empire and that sort of thing. So it would have been a different kind of story had he been involved in this coming from a place of like status and power rather than coming from a low status criminal spot.
Yeah.
It could have been interesting to have incorporated him.
I mean,
a little
they
bit.
ended up using kryptonite later in the episode
Anyways,
anyway.
yeah. Because I think they try to build a new Phantom Zone projector, but they're missing like a crystal.
Yeah, it's dumb.
So
Chris is dumb.
it's so dumb. So then, yeah, Ursa. I was about to say Ursa and Non. The other two, Jack, Sur, and Mala, go to the Daily Planet and they kidnap Lois. And I love too. They're like, "Tell Superman we're at Mala's cabin." Like that doesn't sound like it just doesn't. That's not
The
like
threatening lair.
It's not intimidating
cabin.
or anything like that. Yeah, and we're not like Mala's lair, like Mala's like fortress and like that. We're in Mala's cabin.
Yes.
Out in the woods. Can you come find us? But Superman does show
Also,
up.
when did she like claim that as her space?
I mean, I guess they sent her there like right away. Like it's the Star Labs retreat. Like
Oh, right. Okay,
yeah,
that's what
right.
it was.
So like Superman takes her there, like get her away from society and
Right,
teach her
I
how
forgot
to be
about
a deadly
that.
weapon. But then Superman does show up in his kryptonite suit with kryptonite, and it goes well for him for a second.
for a half second. This was another moment I think would have been fun to have some character for Lois.
Yeah.
She's kind of being strangled by Mala. Superman comes with kryptonite. Mala's weakened, and Superman's like, "Okay, Lois, hold that to her." And I'd have loved for her to just like kind of rub it in her face.
Yeah.
just like give like some like because Lois obviously like she's a good person, but like she's also very self-absorbed.
She's spiteful.
Yes,
like,
very
yeah.
spiteful. And I would have loved just like one of those small moments of just like sitting on her and just kind of rubbing it.
That would have been good. Yeah, to literally just like hold it in her hand, just like sit on top of her. Like, what now?
Yeah.
Like, what are you gonna do?
But no, we cut away and then Superman is zapped into the Phantom Zone.
Yeah.
Which did kind of catch me by surprise.
It did catch me by surprise. But then it's fine because they just turn around and pull him out of there using an incomplete Phantom Zone projector because he has like some sort of radioactive tracker on him. Now I also love it too. So he gets pulled back out of the Phantom Zone like a second later, and like Lois runs up. He's like, "No, Lois, the radiation.
I'm radioactive.
Mind you, he didn't mention that the first time
Nope.
he showed up to save her, and presumably was going to grab her eventually and fly off with her. Didn't matter then.
Nah.
Just whatever. Doesn't matter at all. And then that just results in yet another fight. The three of them fighting out in the city. The only moment in that I thought was kind of good was when they're fighting on the bridge and he sparks off the gas tank.
Yeah.
And it blows up just because they go to that super wide shot of like the two of them like flying off in the distance of the smoke trail. That's cool.
Yeah.
But again, the rest of it's just
More of the same.
more of the same. Like he flies around the city.
And you know what the plan is. That was my problem with the ending. You know, obviously,
That's
what
true.
the plan
There's no
is going to be.
surprises. Yeah.
You know they're going to get zapped in the Phantom Zone. So at least to make that a cool way to surprise us on how it's going to happen.
But it's that he literally
Make like a. There was an episode of Danny Phantom where I'm just going to keep referencing other cartoons. Because he's Danny Phantom. Where Jack Fenton, the dad, built it almost looked like a dream catcher. It was called the Ghost Net, I want to say. That doesn't sound right.
yeah.
But it's where it splits Ghost into two personalities. So Ghost
yeah,
half
I remember
there
that.
and human
Yeah,
half.
because doesn't that happen to Danny? Doesn't he get like? And because is that one of the episodes with Count? What's his name?
Vlad Masters.
Vlad Masters. Yeah, I just always think of him as Martin Mull, but I can't remember the character's name.
I don't think it's in that episode, but in one of the episodes they used that where Danny's flying around, and as he kind of turns a corner, Sam is kind of on the side, and she like flips the net out, and it traps the ghost.
Oh yeah,
And that's what I was expecting. I was expecting him to be flying around and kind of taking them on this very direct path, and as he passed like a corner of a building, they would get zapped as they followed. And we'd see that like this was a big elaborate plan.
yeah. There's nothing there.
Like that's like the most basic things you can do.
I know.
But instead they're chasing, and then he just flies past Star Labs, and it's almost like by accident because they didn't look like they were prepared.
No, they did. Yeah, what was the point of that? He literally just flies him around. I don't get it. Sorry, I saw a really funny meme involving Danny Phantom the other day, and I was trying to find it again on my Instagram. I'm having trouble.
That's fine. Lois kind of triggers the Phantom portal, and she says some kind of snarky line. It's like, I don't even remember. It's not worth remembering.
No.
Zaps him in the portal, and then it cuts to Superman bringing the Phantom Zone to the Fortress of Solitude, and he's like, Fortress of Solitude, that sounds like a pretty cool name.
I'm kind of lonely.
Yeah.
Pet you, space cow. Good to see you, little space cow. Yeah, I know. It is kind of dumb. I mean, I'm trying to think if it's actually even worth going into like Jack Sewar's shit. Not really. There wasn't anything that interesting. Okay, I guess there's one kind of interesting about him. So, he was described on Wikipedia as an amoral and criminally deviant scientist.
Okay.
So his old thing was he launched a nuclear missile to try and destroy like a passing space rock. And if the test was successful, he was then going to amass a nuclear arsenal. I love they have nuclear weapons on Krypton. But a nuclear arsenal to then throw over the Kryptonian government. But the missile collided with a spaceship being flown by Jor-El, and that's how it got like knocked off course and blew up a moon instead. So because
that's no moon.
I know, but because like 500 people died on the moon, that's why he got sent into the Phantom Zone. But what I love about that is that incident also then made them ban space travel on Krypton.
Interesting.
Don't fucking know why. It's not the spaceship's
weird.
fault.
Yeah.
Some asshole's a nuclear bomb was the problem. Keep doing the space travel.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, if
it's
anything,
cool.
If you had kept doing that, maybe things would have worked out differently for you guys when your planet blew up. You had no way to get out of there. Damn it.
So this also brings up a good question of in the pilot, we heard Jor-El's idea of saving Krypton was to put everyone in the Phantom Zone.
Yeah.
Now that we've seen, do you think that was the only Phantom Portal? Because it looked like that was the only one.
Yeah, I think that's a good.
Because now my question is, would they have had time?
There must have been other ones. I mean, I would, because he wasn't part of the Science Council, so he wasn't part of the ruling government. So one presumes that he wouldn't have the only Phantom Zone projector. He just was. I would think.
But then,
no.
then how do you regulate that? Because that's a very powerful tool.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it must be in the hands of select people. My assumption is that the one that was in the ship was probably already in the ship as part of the original plan.
Yeah.
If we're going to give them enough credit for having it be in there. Yeah, I guess they must have a few of them. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point, though. Who would have had control over that? Could they have... I guess if they had like a few days and they had enough, then they probably could have done it.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a good point. Mm-hmm. Maybe.
But now that we also see like how terrifying that place is, you do get to see the other side of like we would never send our civilians into such a place.
Yeah, because I think it might have been the new 52 version that involved the Phantom Zone. Like that was Jor-El's plan, was to throw people in, which I imagine they basically just pulled from this. What I couldn't remember is in Man of Steel. Is that part of Jor-El's plan to save the planet? I don't think it is. Right? Mm-mm. No. So I don't know. I can't say definitively this is the first version that had that in there or not. But there are other iterations of Jor-El that was like...
Yeah, I'm sure it was in the comics at some point.
Probably. Yeah. And I'm trying to remember... I don't know if we actually get that much more Phantom... Well, no, okay. The Phantom Zone is actually used really interesting in Justice League later on. Or maybe JLU. I forget. But I think, don't they like... They put some... Did they play a version of Doomsday in the Phantom Zone, and then all the world's governments are like, "Who gave you the right to do that?"
That sounds about right.
Maybe that's JLU, because JLU was the one that really dealt with the idea of like them having unchecked powers.
Yeah.
But I don't think it pops up that much more in the actual animated series itself, which is kind of a shame.
Yeah.
But it'll get interesting eventually.
Yeah.
So, other thoughts or plugs?
Let's do some plugs.
All right. What do you got going on? What have you been checking out these days?
You know what? I watched a live show, which I haven't done in a long time.
What live show did you see, Cameron?
Oh, no. Sorry. Not like not stage show. I meant a show that's like currently on air.
Oh, on air. Oh, okay. I thought that was your like subtle way of being like, I was on Hamilton.
No. I'm not going to plug Hamilton. I know people can't go see that right now.
Yeah.
Hamilton's great, by the way.
I can't go for like 3 more months.
I watched the Orville.
Oh.
Which is Seth MacFarlane's Star Trek episode.
How bad is it?
It's not horrible.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
Wait, hang on. This is you talking.
So hold on. I've also told a few other friends to watch it, and they've had the same conclusion. My analogy is it's not a Star Trek episode written by Seth MacFarlane. It's a Star Trek episode that happens to star Seth MacFarlane.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Okay.
So it's not kind of consumed by his brand of humor. But instead, it's a normal Star Trek episode that happens to have a comedic character.
So it's not... Is it like halfway between Galaxy Quest and Star Trek?
it's closer to Star Trek than just Galaxy Quest.
That's one of the things I read that tonally it's kind of weird. It's like 'cause they make it seem like it's a comedy, but then when you watch it, it's actually more like a dramedy.
Yeah.
Are they 30-minute episodes or hour episodes?
I think it was a 42-minute episode.
Okay,
So hour.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that falls more in the dramedy camp. So,
But it's also the pilot. Usually pilots are an hour.
pilot might be a little
so
bit
I don't
longer.
know.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not going to say it's great, but I will say it has potential to be good.
Okay.
The characters are interesting, and I mean they're Star Trek characters. They're interesting enough.
Yeah.
I would like to know more about some of them.
Do you think I would like it?
Let me watch a few more episodes of the season before
Okay.
I make such a bold statement.
Okay, because we all know I'm a critic, a
Yes,
harsh critic.
but I was honestly just blown away that it wasn't a piece of trash.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be terrible because especially that's like an expensive show.
It's so well made.
Yeah.
Like the special effects in that just kind of blow my mind. But also at the same time, you have to think how much money Fox has made from Seth MacFarlane.
Well, it's true, but so they're going to take
He's
a bigger.
given them 3 of their kind of multi-season
Yeah.
animated shows.
So it makes sense they would take a bigger gamble on him than would
Yeah.
with other people. But I mean, the challenge. This is why I was not sure about it. The challenge becomes if you have a show that expensive, you really got to make your money back on it.
Yeah, I don't think they will.
Usually, that means you got it requires a lot of. You have to raise a lot of money, which means you got a lot of people with a lot of input. And usually, what makes comedy work, and I guess it's less of a comedy than I expect, is specificity. And usually, the bigger budget something is, the less specific the comedy is. Mm-hmm. So I was worried that it was going to just be very generic and boring. But
No, it has. I mean, like I said, it has potential.
all right.
I'm very curious where they're going to go from here.
All right. Report back to me in a few weeks. Because by then, also, Star Trek Discovery will have aired.
Right.
And, fuck you, CBS. I will have bought CBS All Access to watch it. And I'll decide which Star Trek show I will watch. Maybe neither.
Maybe neither. Yeah.
Maybe neither. So
Not really plugs, but South Park started up this week.
I watched it. I actually watched it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, Brandon and I watched it last night.
It was great.
It was pretty funny. Yeah. Have they been continuing to do the Dicker Jeeps thing, or they just bring that back?
That
for
they
this
just brought it back for this.
Yeah, 'cause I
episode.
think like when I stopped watching South Park was like right after like that season when they first did the
yeah.
Dicker Jeeps.
They took our jobs. I'll just plug Orville for
Okay.
this week.
All right, that's easy enough for me to throw in there.
Yeah. Have you been watching, listening, reading too?
Not too much.
None of that made sense.
I thought I was going to have to just pull one of my regular podcasts that I have yet to plug because I had nothing. And then I realized I actually been keeping a list of like random videos I've watched. One of which, I actually don't know if I got a chance to talk to you about this. Or maybe we have. It was the video, The Adorkable Misogyny of the Big Bang Theory.
Yes, I did watch that video.
You did
It was
watch that.
amazing.
It's super interesting.
that was so cool.
I'm bringing it up right now because I forget who made it. And
I don't remember.
wanted
It
to-
wasn't one of my normal.
I want to give them credit. But it's...
it's the woman who also trashed Hercules.
No, why would you trash Hercules?
She had a bunch of really good points,
Oh, okay. Well,
which kind of made me sad because she was right, but I still love Hercules more than anything.
I know. Well, Hercules is fantastic. What? This is the Pop Culture Detective.
Maybe it's a different person. Maybe I'm thinking of a different
Maybe it's a
video.
different person. Yeah. But I really like this video because I don't watch The Big Bang Theory anymore. I haven't for years. I feel like it's no longer for nerds. It's just at the expense of nerds, and they just throw in a whole bunch of references. Like it is a show about like our realm of pop culture for people who are not part of our pop culture. It's just fucking stupid too. But what I liked about this specifically, though, was that it also pointed out there's some deeper flaws in the comedy itself. I've always said like, the first few seasons are actually pretty funny, but I haven't watched them in probably better part of 10 years now, and I've explained this to you. You've already seen it, but it's still like, so they reference like the 80s movies that inspired it which are like 16 Candles and
Revenge of the Nerds.
Revenge of the
big
Nerds.
one.
Which is big, which,
Panty Raid.
yeah, they're basically just like, there are like flat out like acts of sexual assault in these movies, and we let them slide because they're nerdy guys and they're not the typical jock guys.
They give the person gives a phrase to it where it's like sympathetic or like, I don't remember what it is.
Oh.
They make you feel bad for the characters when they do something bad. You don't see them doing the bad thing.
Yeah, it's the idea is like the comedy is based around the fact that these are guys who don't fit the traditional like masculine mold. So when they do things that's funny. I forget, there was a more specific term. You're right, but I think that was kind of the idea that they were going for on it. But the essayist point on the whole thing was that like you look at the Big Bang Theory and they do this thing called lamp shading, which I heard before, but I've forgotten. It's basically like it's like shining a light on something, but it's a very specific form where they will go ahead and just make sexist, racist, homophobic jokes, but then they'll have one character like, oh, that's not very funny, and so it's like a way to just go ahead and make those really base level bad jokes and then make it seem like they're aware of it so they can get off the hook for it.
Right.
But that still doesn't change the fact they're making all these like terrible base level jokes. And look, I mean, I will do one small bit of devil's advocate where I'll say that it is really fucking hard to write 22 episodes of a show that has been going on for 10 years and still make it palatable. But at the same time, other shows do it without being this base level and without being like the humor being so bad.
Yeah. Hell, if King of the Hill can last for like 14 fucking seasons.
Well, fucking Simpsons has been going on for almost 30 years.
I know. Show.
Yeah, right. So
I actually just watched. On that note, I just watched Dead Poet Society for the first time last night.
Oh no shit.
Yeah, and they had a moment like this in it when I don't remember any of the names already.
No, I don't.
But one of the like less fortunate guys goes to the party that the girl invites him to, and she's kind of passed out on the couch, and he starts kissing her and feeling her up.
Yeah,
and I was like, was that okay at the time?
No,
because they tried to make you feel sympathetic for him afterwards, because even the girl's like, oh no, that was okay, while the boyfriend is about to beat him up.
Yeah,
it's like, no, it wasn't.
No, that's the
I
thing.
guess like beating him up is probably not the best solution to do afterwards, but still, like it's not
okay. Like you can't do these things. And that they even talked about that in this video. Like they're talking about how like in a specific episode of The Big Bang Theory, like Penny calls out Howard for being a total sleazebag, which he is, and he gets his feelings hurt, and then she has to go to apologize. And the whole point is like, oh yeah, like even in this scenario, it's like the guy's like feelings are more important than the girl feeling comfortable being around people and not being sexually assaulted. And it's stuff that I hadn't thought about that much, to be honest, in regards to that show. And so I'm really glad I watched it, because like, yeah, like this sort of stuff, even though it's done in kind of an innocent way, it perpetuates an ideology that's not good.
Especially for a show that's so popular.
Yeah. So I'm not going to say don't go watch The Big Bang Theory, but if you do, maybe like go watch this.
Yeah, be aware of
video, be aware of what's going on there. Wow, we just got like really surprisingly
no, that's fine.
like highbrow. And,
there was
like
I don't think
genuine.
I brought this up on the podcast, but what I'm very curious about, I think I've brought it up to you before, is there was a moment where I feel like every single person stopped watching Big Bang at the exact same time.
I want to say it
was like end of season 4.
Okay. I think I lasted a little bit longer. I think I stopped around maybe like season 6 or 7.
Okay.
But yeah, I think there was basically a point when everyone's like, this is not good anymore.
And I'm curious if there was something that happened in the episode or something that happened in the news or in culture where it just was like, at one point Big Bang was like the cool thing for nerds to watch because it was a show for us. And just like the next day, it's like, nope, we don't want to watch this anymore.
I can't say specifically. My theory is that, because I kind of remember around the time that happened. I remember for maybe about a season or 2 before I stopped watching it, I noticed the humor changed. It got a little bit raunchier. That was also the same time that...
Is that when Raj started drinking? I feel like that was...
I think that was when Raj, like around the time he like stopped drinking maybe, and he could start talking to women without it.
Okay.
But what was happening elsewhere, though, was that at the same time, 2.5 Men was like basically like a sinking ship. Like Charlie Sheen and Gun Crazy had left. It wasn't getting the ratings. It was coming to an end. I think what happened, because they're both Chuck Lorre Productions, both CBS, I think they either took writers from 2.5 Men and put them over on Big Bang Theory, or maybe they started to reposition Big Bang Theory to be the new 2.5 Men and go for a slightly different audience. And that's basically what happened, right? I mean, 2.5 Men was huge. It got supplanted by Big Bang Theory.
It got Ashton
Kutchered. Someone else came in, did a better job. So I think that's kind of what happened. And I think that there was workings behind the scenes to reposition what that show was for the network and for the company. And in doing so, I think that's when people like us who used to be able to relate to it stopped being able to and jump ship. That's my theory.
I forgot about the 2.5 Men drama.
Yeah, it's same company, same network. So that's my theory, at least, is what was going on there.
Yeah.
So I have one other like just small fun thing that's not serious. I'm not going to spawn a long conversation. It was this cool post I saw that someone had done portraits of the Gotham characters in the style of the animated series.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so like they would do like the I'm bringing it up right now. My computer's being wonky. I'll show it to you real quick. But it's like, so they'll have like okay, there it goes.
Yeah,
like,
that's the only one I was looking for. Was what
yeah.
Joker
So like
looked
like Jerome and the Joker are like, this is like, so the front character is like the character done in the style of the Ant-Man series, and then behind them is like Batman behind Bruce, and like that version of Penguin.
I would watch it if it was animated.
I would too, actually. This looks really good.
Yeah.
So I'll include it on there because it's worth checking out. But they're kind of cool, just like doing different stylized versions of the show. I don't watch that show anymore. Never did, really.
I was going to say, I don't think you ever did. Like,
I watched one episode.
You still make fun of me for watching a whole season.
I know, it's terrible. But it's kind of a cool little thing. So that's more a way to end on a fun note.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that does do it for us.
Yeah.
This time. What is... Oh, coming up
We're
next,
going off schedule next
we're
week.
slightly off schedule. It's the Promethean and Livewire. First episode of Livewire, which would be good. I like her a lot. Because we're going to save episode 4 because it's Speed Demons. So we're going to do that with our good friends from the podcast of Two Worlds, Trevor and Chris.
Yeah, we're going to talk about some Flash.
I know. Yeah, I've never actually asked them, like, why the Flash?
I mean, I feel like I'm sure the Flash had a big following beforehand, but Jeff Johns, when he came in and took over DC, he had a huge push to bring Flash and Green Lantern to kind of the forefront of the kind of DC world.
But I've never asked them if like they like Flash their favorite character growing up or what.
I'm sure it is for
I'd love them
Trevor.
to.
I don't know about other Chris.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm curious to ask them about that, but that'll be fun. So we'll have that coming up pretty soon.
Yeah.
And if between now and then you want to reach out to us, we are at Timm Talk Pod on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram.
Yes.
I am at Lordifer on all those same things.
Cool. I am. If you want to see my face, I'm at CamDexter_adventures, and if you want to see my art, I am at Cameron.Dexter.
Yeah.
I had to think about it for a second.
If you want to
What's
see
my name?
If you want to see Cameron's face at Hamilton, you can go and see him on the first one.
Yeah. Hamilton was great, guys.
Yeah.
If you have $600 to shell out, go see it. Now it is.
Now it is. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So mine weren't that. But I also can't go till December. Yeah. Like everyone I know is going to go see it.
That's
now.
how I felt.
My parents have seen it already. Like what? Yeah, I know it's ridiculous. Soon though.
Yes.
Soon.
We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.
The Nerdist School Network. For class and show information, visit nerdistschool.com.